Well, guess what? This could well be the last ride on the Tuono. For those of you who have been watching my channel, you will know that I am about to take delivery of a 23 Street Fighter V4S to go with my M1000R. And that's really super exciting. However, that means I need to say goodbye. I just can't fit them all in the garage. I need to say goodbye to the Tuono. And look, even if I had a really big garage, the reality is I wouldn't keep it. I've loved this bike. I've really enjoyed owning it. But it's just been out-evolved by the German and Italian giants of the hyper naked class. It's just been out-evolved. You know, I mean, this is still a wicked machine, and I get on it now and I go, wow, it's so fun. And it's got great initial response, throttle response. That's its standout feature. And to go along with its awesome wind protection for a naked. But it's been out-evolved by the competition, and that happens. This bike's been the reigning champ for so long of the class. It's been so well received by journalists all over the world who have highly regarded, and some still do, regard this bike very highly. But when you back-to-back it, and I mean same day, you jump off the Street Fighter or the MR and you get onto this, or vice versa, you can, that's when you know. That's when you know it's been out-evolved. And I think, I don't see too many tests where it's just complete back-to-back. And I've done that several times, and I can tell you, this is showing its age, okay? I know, look, I love Aprilia, and there's lots of people who do, and I know I'll have a few comments, no doubt, defending the Italian steed, but yeah, the truth is, sometimes the truth hurts. It's been out-evolved. It does feel heavier and slower than those two bikes, actually by some distance. But look, you know, let's not whinge about it. It's a wonderful bike. Oh, here we go, the overheating. Look at that. I've literally just turned the bike on. It's cold. 81 degrees. So it's not even really overheating. It's some kind of, oh, who knows, far out. I've been on the Aprilia forum, and following the comments on the thread about the overheating, which is now 51 pages long. And so this, it's not a 22 bike issue either. It's anything up to 21. It's 21, 22, 23 have got the same problem. And there are so many opinions on it, and, you know, supposed diagnostics and, you know, suggested solutions. But you go through that thread and you can come to one conclusion at the end of it. No one's got any idea, including Aprilia, as to why this bike, I use the term overheats. I don't even know if that's what it is. No one knows. All I know is, at the lights, after about a minute and a half, it starts chugging, and then overheats and then stalls. Well, it turns off, shuts down. And it doesn't matter if it's winter or summer, hot or cold, doesn't matter. The ambient temperature has no effect. It'll do it anytime, anywhere, anytime. And look, the big problem I've got with that, of course, is, I mean, I've listed the bike for sale. Okay, I've put it up for sale, and when I get inquiries on the bike, I get asked the question, does it have the overheating problem? And I have to say yes. And even if I didn't get asked the question, I'll tell a buyer that anyway, because I think you need to know. Unlike Bike Biz at Parramatta, who would have known and elected not to tell me. Yeah, they're a shocker, that group. I've got other reasons to say that. Anyway, and so now not only do I have an overheating bike, I have a bike that it's not holding good resale value because everyone knows, and this is just going to get more common knowledge. And you know, you've got a lemon. You've got a lemon. I mean, brilliant bike to ride, particularly in the fast stuff. And actually handles the commute really well too. You can check out my commuter video. In some ways it's a smoother ride down a low than the Street Fighter actually. So I mean, there's a lot to like. And put a Gabbro tune on this, as many have done. I have not, but that's just going to clean it up even more, make it even better. It's a great bike, but it has a fundamental flaw that is hampering your enjoyment of the bike so much. I've owned it for a year, which is a long time for me, and for a while there I was just loving it. It was my favourite all-time bike, mainly because of the engine and the throttle response, but ultimately I can't ride it. I do a lot of inner city riding, and I just can't ride it. But even down the twisties, you know, when you come to a stop for, you know, side of the road to change your camera gear, whatever else, you know, it's constantly a pain in the ass. So Aprilia, you have let a product out into the wild with such a major structural flaw, and Aprilia dealers need to tell prospective buyers about it, because my dealer who sold me this, Bike Biz, did not. And in fact, when I went back and pointed out to them, trying to get them to fix it, they pretended like they'd never heard of it. They pretended, oh really? No, we don't know what you're talking about. Bollocks, like come on, just Google it. There's a gazillion people with the problem. So I took it to Northside, another Aprilia dealer in Sydney, at Artarmon, and they knew about it. And of course they knew about it, and they were able to suggest some, you know, some potential solutions. But they were good. They said, look, it's a problem with the bike. We don't really know if this is going to work, but we'll give it a go. That's all you can ask for. Buyer beware, I suppose. But if I was buying an Aprilia in Sydney, I'd buy it off Northside. I wouldn't buy it off Bike Biz. That is for sure. So anyway, look, the other thing that major thing I notice back to backing these machines, the other thing I notice is the handling profile. So different. This bike, in terms of twisties and cornering, you need to wrestle a bit more with it. You need to muscle it, and it responds beautifully, by the way. But you need to muscle it. It does feel like it's got more rotating mass. It just feels heavier in the corner than the other two, which means mid-corner the stability is wicked. I probably prefer this bike on the really big fast sweepers than the others for that reason. But good blipper, great downshift. Brakes are solid without the same brake feel, but they're good. Yeah, so it does feel slower and out of its league in the handling stakes when you're back to back with the others that I've mentioned, including the Super Duke. Actually, the Super Duke was surprisingly good. So yeah, but a lot to love. This is the bike that got me into the hyper naked class, and I just probably bought it at the end of its sort of useful product cycle life. I dare say the Italians will come out with something better and more sharper in their near future, I would imagine. And they showed that with the 660 variant of this bike, that they are more than capable. Oh, here we go. More than capable of innovating. And the big 1100 V4 factory needs a little bit of innovating. Still addictive, still fun, twist of the throttle, and fun is to be had. Just a little out evolved. But anyway, look, Tuono, I want to say thank you for the memories. Thank you for being a wonderful bike for me. I hope you're a wonderful bike for whoever buys you. and I very much look forward to seeing what Aprilia do with this platform into the future, because I would be a candidate to buy an improved version in the future, but I would choose a different dealer. The dealer that I bought this bike from, who I've already mentioned, when I purchased the bike, the sales guy showed me around the bike, took off the rear cowl to show me underneath it, and then when he put it back on, unbeknownst to me, he didn't put it back on properly. So when I rode this brand new bike home, by the time I got home, I got the bike, first ride on it, there was no rear cowl, there was a big gaping hole there. So it was obviously come off on the motorway on the way home. And the dealer principal at that dealer had the gall to say to me, when I spoke to him on the phone about it, firstly, he couldn't understand why I was so upset about it, which, I mean, come on, man, when you spend 40 grand on a brand new bike, like, it's a big deal. But he said to me, oh, well, when you rode it out of the dealership, the cowl was on the bike. Honestly, that makes that person an absolute tool. And honestly, I mean, I buy several bikes a year, and I'm going to continue to for a long time. And I'm really looking forward to ramping up my YouTubery. And I will never buy another bike from that guy as long as he's involved with that dealership. And as long as my ass points to the ground, I ain't ever buying a bike off those guys again. So long as the culture of that organisation is like that. Honestly, so bad. The guy who runs the service centre out there is actually a good bloke and has done a good job. But you can just tell he's under the pump in there. And yeah, no thanks, not for me. There are so many other better dealerships in Sydney, some great dealerships in Sydney to buy bikes from, and Northside, who are an Aprilia dealership up at Artarmon, are one of them. They're awesome. Anyway, that's my rant on that. Look at this, here's the overheating, look at it, up to 105 degrees. She's running out of gas. I've got to, oh, there, stalled. Probably quite an appropriate way to sign off my Aprilia ownership experience. Oh, what a shame. So close, Aprilia, so close, nearly, but not quite. See you later. By the way, it took several months. Actually, no, sorry, that's not true. It took several weeks to get that rear cowl. In the end, they had to take one off another bike they had in the showroom, which they should have done straight away, but they didn't. They ended up taking it off. So their head mechanic bought one of these, and they took it off his bike. So they took the cowl off the mechanic's bike to give to me, and goodness knows how long it took the mechanic to then get a replacement cowl. Incredible. Now you could take the attitude that, oh look, these things happen, and look, I'm definitely open to that. However, the attitude of the dealership was so I couldn't care less. That's why I asked up about it. If they had said, oh look, this is terrible, we're so sorry, look, we're going to do whatever we can to get a new one, and then updated me and like been really super apologetic, I would have put it down to, look, these things happen, but that's not the attitude they took. They were like so confrontational and aggressive and defensive at the same time. That's what fired me up, and that's why I've taken the view I'll never buy from them again. This is the last crossing of the Sydney Harbour Bridge on the Aprilia Tuono. I've got a few people coming around this weekend to view the bike. And it'll probably sell soon enough. I'm going to have to take a big discount though, based on the well-documented issues And I mean, I've been part of documenting the issues, but look, my job is to give you honest and fair review, and even if it costs me in resale, that's what I'm going to do. Geez, it sounds good. It's still the best sounding bike on the market. Really is. For the last time, the flame-throwing Aprilia Tuono V4 factory crosses the harbour bridge. Oh yeah, she's got so much grunt. What a fun bike. Woo. So the temperature's going up. It was 94, 96, 97, 98. Got lucky this time because the light went green. Look, that's about 106 in like 20 seconds. And then actually, I better let Ali say his goodbyes because he likes this one. Actually, you better give it a score. I don't think I've got a score. There we go. Look at that. That's service, Ali. Don't make it too sharp on the Ali. Turning circle's not that good. Here we go. Hey! What do you think of this bike? What do you think of this bike? Good one? Out of 10. What do you give it out of 10? Hello? No, I've had this one for a year. You just forget. You're going to give it a score out of 10. 10! 10! Oh, you gave it a 10? That's sensational. Jeez. Well, you do come from the motorcycle capital of the world.